spin left out in front of Zhang Jike. Instead of moving in, tries to lean in. Typically, players are going to be keeping their loops as deep on the table as possible. And that serve looks like it's going to kick. Not a lot of topspin on it, but quite the contrary. Light underspin. Fegerl delivering it deep on the table. Gives it the illusion that it's got topspin. Just missing on the recovery after the grunting step around shot. Now he can keep that ball in play, of course he wants to, but the pressure to make it wide enough on the forehand side. This is the threat of Zhang Jike. Touch game over the table. Fegerl quick to get it off the bounce. Strong backhand opening, but it comes right back. And even though Fegerl had a 4-1 lead, there's still this feeling like we'll believe it when it's 9-4 in game 7 for Fegerl. Right now, still early in the match. Change of pace, keeping it deep on the table. A little bit soft though. This is sort of the calming place that Zhang Jike goes to. Edge tape, edge of the rubber. No problem. Sees it clearly in slow motion and loops it cross court. The ball's not coming back. Lu Guoliang in the corner. These are two Grand Slam champions. Lu Guoliang and Zhang Jike, 2 of 4. Both involved with this match right now. So a 4-1 lead disintegrated, now 5 points each. Zhang Jike is tied back up. Smart play from Fegerl. Soft block until he has the opportunity to counter it with some power from the backhand. Timing and shot selection, 2 very important ingredients in every match. Again, smart play, covering the middle with the forehand even when he needs to. Fegerl getting right back in position. Blocking it deep enough on the table that he waits for the opportunity to really assert himself. And that last ball put a little more pace on with the backhand. At the second towel break, Stefan Fegerl leading 7 points to 5 over Zhang Jike. unusual attempt. Tries to go for a fast push out to the forehand, finds the middle of the net. Almost looked like a chop smash on the receive. Strong play from Fegerl, keeps him pinned in the backhand court, sees the opening on the forehand side, but drives Zhang Jike away from the table with full force. Fast block, then turns and counters, right back into the table. Fast shot right into the left arm of Zhang Jike. Fegerl extending his lead. Getting closer, but still no security, even at 9-6 to send this to a fifth game at 2-2. Fegerl recovers the top of the net shot, but the follow-up attack too strong. Zhang Jike's technique, so picture perfect. Really dropped the racket low, full extension, and still recovers for the follow-up backhand shot. Big points right here for both players. But especially for Fegerl, and the pressure is building. The last 2 points in a row Zhang Jike has taken. Fegerl needs to get this game. There it is, the initiation. Ball right at the back edge of the table. Fegerl confident again to take the attack at full swing. It's not the first time we've seen this, but it's 2 game points for Fegerl. It's been a while since we've seen the light backspin short to the forehand, the dead serve. Working hard for the money and working hard for that point. 11 points to 8. Stefan Fegerl takes it and ties it up at 2 games each. Again, we'll be watching to see if it gets to a 3-game situation for Stefan Fegerl. But in the meantime, it's tied up. Game 5 just after. And he does it. Brings it right back into play against some pace, softens it up and spins it. High toss serve from Zhang Jike. Heavy spin and blocks back the first opening backhand from Zhang Jike. That is touch. Fegerl keeping it so short, leaving the side spin on the ball. And Zhang Jike eats his own side spin for lunch. Flash photography warning coming out here. It's actually a person standing right next to the court. Distraction at its highest. Translator from the Chinese team coming in to make sure that the flash message was delivered successfully. Side spin from down below the table from Fegerl sends Zhang Jike way out wide for an opportunity at an around the net shot. But he decides to play it a little safer. This ball right here is a quality shot. Zhang Jike putting backspin on the ball with the forehand. Very unusual shot. If it lands, it's going to be trouble. Inside out forehand for the point. The long stroke steps around and misleads. Fegerl point of the match. Shot block, everything happened there, and Zhang Jike gritting his teeth. Crowd in full applause mode right now. Look at that. Shot block left high, still stays in the point. Talk about keeping your composure. Fegerl staying loose as ever out there. Takes the 9-3 lead. Highlights all over it again. Zhang Jike with some facial expressions we don't see too often. And the crowd knows when they're watching something amazing in the making. Fegerl 2 points away from taking the game. Fegerl staying calm and cool again, blocking the big shots. Amazing the way he straightens up his back, takes all the pace off the ball, and still gets it back into play, just absorbs it. You saw the first shot of that replay. Looks like he was blasted with an air gun. Miss hit and an 11-3 victory. Fegerl going into the 6th game in style. So now it's a series. Again, this is a real test for Zhang Jike. This is a chance for him to prove that he's back and ready, that he can represent China at the Olympics. But he's going to have to get through this match. Little break off the top of the net for Fegerl, but still confident opening attack. Banana flip trying for the short side of the table as Zhang Jike steps around. Had a chance to chat with some of the fans in the crowd. Chinese supporters saying this is just warm up for Zhang Jike. He's got him exactly where he wants him. Big forehand, but even bigger, Zhang Jike right off the bounce. And Zhang Jike saying, get that flashlight out of here. That's the second photographer to put a light. Photographer right behind the barriers. I don't know if the message has come through. The umpires haven't said anything. Photographer has not been approached. The first photographer was a Chinese photographer, so clearly not a conspiracy against Zhang Jike. Or at least it seems less likely, who knows. But Zhang Jike firing it up a bit. Zhang Jike, the man who performs under pressure. Well, that's right now. The pressure is definitely on. Step around, tangled up at the feet. Fegerl making a few good shots in this rally, but Zhang Jike really just dominating. That counter right there, hooking. Zhang Jike finding the body, hitting it right at the right shoulder. Soft, spinny shot from Fegerl. And at the first towel break, Zhang Jike was starting to run away up 4-1. Still early in the game, Fegerl could quickly turn this around. No matter what people say about Zhang Jike's condition right now or how fast he does or does not look, Fegerl is playing an incredible match. There's no question about the quality of Fegerl's play. Spinny backhand, but more heat coming back from Zhang Jike. A little bit off the top of the net. Quick step around and counter from Zhang Jike. There aren't many places on the court where Zhang Jike is not dangerous. But that serve, though, Fegerl deep into the backhand, deceives Zhang Jike, leaves it on his own side of the table. And a service error. Could the coolest guy in the sport be feeling the pressure right now? It's a timeout. Lu Guoliang's going to have a talk with Zhang Jike. Now, as far as history goes, Zhang Jike has had some bouts with the Chinese national team. Insubordination, was moved off the A team, the men's national team, years ago before his first attempt at the World Championships, which he succeeded. So we'll see how the timeout from the legend, Lu Guoliang, affects the present legend, Zhang Jike. Fegerl managing to fight it off, keep it deep on the table. The over-the-table flip sets up Zhang Jike's inside-out forehand, and Fegerl really seeing it well, anticipating. He was in the middle, setting up in the middle, just recovers. Quick movement back to the backhand side, and it's tied up at 5 each. Service is trouble for Zhang Jike. Straight out of the timeout, 2 points have gone to Fegerl. Goes for the counter this time. Fegerl clearly frustrated. Shot selection, the name of the game. Waiting patiently, sees the opportunity to counterattack out wide to the forehand side. Zhang Jike sees him going forward as well, tied up at 6 each. Seemed like the real momentum shift was right after the light from the camera. Could that have affected the focus of Zhang Jike? Serve comes a little long. Fegerl has the opportunity, but it's loaded with under and side. Yeah, he's got a clear stroke at that ball. He's got to set his feet up a little differently. Comes off longer than he expects it to. Break off the top of the net. Crucial moments. Zhang Jike sweating. The struggle out here. Look at this block. Little surprising, Zhang Jike's shot missed by so much. Tries to play it safe and spin it back on the table. Just missing the table. Fegerl saw it, still had a chance. He's fighting in that point. Several soft blocks, keeping Zhang Jike moving back into the table. From down low, takes his opportunity there, opens the attack. Imagine if that had come down and caught the back edge of the table. For Zhang Jike to not crumble, it'd just be insane. Although that's the standard he sets under pressure. Again, a deep service with deceptive underspin, and it's tied up at 8 each. This is becoming a real possibility for Fegerl right now. He's got 3 games. He's almost at 9 points. Brunson counterattack wide to the forehand, earns him the point. Fegerl takes the lead, 2 points away from winning this match. The pressure is on for Zhang Jike. This ball right there, a lot of side spin and top. Crowd starting to chitter chatter. They're about to see a great upset. Half-long serve, caught an indecision. Fegerl left with a lukewarm shot at best, and it's 9-all. Changes his mind, thinks it's going to come off the table. It's a perfectly placed serve from Zhang Jike. Does the game change? Does Fegerl try something different? Does he go back to opening with power? Does he block for placement until the opportunity? His serve has been effective, we'll see. And it's effective again, heavy underspin. It's match point for Stefan Fegerl. A chance to move on to the men's singles finals at a tournament with the best players in the world. Not even Austrian #1, but he has a chance to do the unthinkable right now on his serve, and it's the most threatening serve out there. Backhand goes long. Zhang Jike still alive. Deuce in game 6. Everybody in the crowd getting their money's worth right now. Just long. Zhang Jike stretching it out, doing his edge tape routine. Outstanding point. The most aggressive chop block we've seen yet from Fegerl, and you could hear the grunts for the first time from Zhang Jike. Not a chow, not a fist pump. Just a grunt to get that ball over. Again, the quality of point, incredible out here. Zhang Jike earns himself, after saving a match point, earns a game point to send this to the 7th. Fegerl's serve has been trouble for Zhang Jike. And it's still trouble. Another receive error. It's been so strong, the service game of Fegerl. Look at this. Looks like heavy backspin, short side of the table, but it's light. Umpire warning the players to come back and play. Applause of the crowd deserved, but only buying a little more time for Zhang Jike. And there's a big chole. For a silent player this entire match, that was a scream of a release. High toss. Underspin half long to the middle of the table. Fegerl's still in this though. Now against a game point. And a break off the top of the net, deep on the table. Crowd with their hands on their faces cannot believe what they're watching. And the Chinese contingency in the crowd, Zhang Jike, Jayo. And some of the Polish crowd representing Europe cheering for Stefan out here as well. Positivity from both sides. The Polish crowd not afraid to defend the European player. And they've given him the power. Home court advantage. By continent, yes. By fans, it's tough to tell. The Chinese supporters very vocal here. Another match point, the second match point for Fegerl, and he has the advantage of serve. Oh, a huge shot. Zhang Jike to the short side of the table under pressure, not a sound. Still focused. The sound all coming from the crowd right now. Fegerl's had several successful blocks from that backhand right into the body, but no chance to get to turn on that and counter with the forehand. Full commitment from Zhang Jike in the backhand court. Fourth deuce point in game 6. There it is, back edge of the table, but still a cross-court counter from Fegerl. Opening shot from Zhang Jike, and that's unfortunate for Zhang Jike. Fegerl's had a bit more luck this game, and it's a third match point. Cell phone cameras out in the crowd. There it is, he does it! See how he does in the finals, but now